Hot take. I don't believe you need to wash rice anymore. That was my grandma throwing stuff at me, by the way. What is going on, guys? Jet Tila here, and this is Ready Jet Cook, where I break down the basics of Asian cuisine and share some tips and tricks for making my favorite dishes. Today, we are making yang chow fried rice, and for my East Coast friends, y'all call it house fried rice. Fried rice is the backbone of Chinese cuisine. It's versatile. It's something every single cook should know how to make at home. But before we get started, I really need you to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a dish. Let's get into it. You probably have most of the items you need in your pantry to make yang chow fried rice, but let me show you a few things you don't. Starting with the star of the show, jasmine rice. This isn't just any rice. This is known to be the king of rice. Jasmine rice is unique because it's simultaneously long grain, fragrant, and super fluffy. For fried rice, I want you to use a day-old rice or cold rice because I don't want you to smash that fresh cooked rice in your wok. As jasmine rice cools, it starts to solidify, and then you want to use a harder rice when cooking fried rice so it gets nice, soft, fluffy, and warm in the pan. Let's boogie so we can go cook. So yang chow fried rice is fancy fried rice, meaning it's got a lot of amazing stuff in it, mainly shrimp and barbecue pork. We've got our barbecue pork back in the kitchen, but we need to talk about shrimp. Although you see the shrimp fresh and glistening, it's actually been previously frozen, and that's okay because it's been IQF, individually quick frozen, either at sea or at the processor. Let me clarify shrimp sizing. To the market or the butcher or the fishmonger, we size them by how many in a pound. So 2125 is a larger shrimp because there's 20 in a pound. 4150 is a small shrimp because there's 4150 per pound. If you go to your butcher or fishmonger and say, I want a medium shrimp, they're probably gonna give you like a 2125, pretty common size. These shrimp are 2125, 2630, so they might appear big, but once you peel them, devein them, and cook them, they're gonna shrink a little bit. So buy a little bigger than you think you want. 2125, 2630, perfect for yang chow fried rice. With shrimp in hand, looks like we got everything else. Let's go check out. Fried rice is really deceptive because just about any fried rice is delicious and you want to eat it. But there are some tips and techniques that can make fried rice, good to amazing. And I want to show you all of those secrets. So let's start prepping here. I like to take the ends off of the scallions first. I flip them all over at the same time, line them up, and then I take the tip off so they're even. And now I like to separate the whites from the greens. And instead of cutting these perpendicular rounds, fine, right? Why don't I just show you the nicer way that doesn't take any more effort? So instead of a 90 degree, why don't we go 45 degree? And then a nice consistent 45 degree slice all the way down the scallion. And this is called a bias slice. Takes no more effort, looks super cool. And Ready Jet Cook OGs know that this is the only way I slice scallions. So I was talking to my friend Chef Nikki, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna make yang chow fried rice. And she was like, what is yang chow fried rice? It's in the East Coast, they either call it house fried rice or they call it combo fried rice. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Scallions look gorgeous. Let's talk about one of my favorite proteins on earth, char siu. Southern Chinese barbecue pork. It is a thing of magic. It is a pork shoulder lacquered in 5-spice and soy sauce and honey. It is perfect. So you can kind of find it hanging in barbecue shops at your favorite Cantonese restaurants. This is the protein you want to use for the best yang chow fried rice. And if you want to learn how to make it, go to my recipe and make it at home. Since we're cutting char siu for fried rice, we're gonna cut it small. So I'm gonna cut this in half first. Remember, what's the Jet Tila rhyme, OGs? Tile becomes a slice, slice becomes a dice. So I'm gonna cut char siu tiles first, and then we're gonna take these slices, we're gonna cut them perpendicular, and then cut them into dice. Let's talk about rice. One of the key things is you gotta make the rice a day ahead or early enough so it's cold before you make the actual fried rice. In my humble opinion, the best rice, period, to make fried rice with is jasmine rice, and specifically Thai jasmine rice. Why? Because it's long grain, it's fragrant, and it's semi-sticky. Only one rice on earth has all those attributes, and that's Thai jasmine rice. I'm scared to say what I'm gonna say. Hot take. I don't believe you need to wash rice anymore. Don't come for me in the comments, but I personally don't wash rice before I cook it. That's gonna be a massively hot take. Back in the day when they milled the jasmine rice from brown to white, there was a ton of extra starch in that bag. The new technology is different. Nowadays, I don't believe you ever have to wash rice again, and that's gonna be a massive controversial take. So put in the comments below whether you wash rice or you don't wash rice. That argument aside, the secret to perfect jasmine rice we do agree on, and that's the ratio of rice to water should be 1:1. The next thing we all agree on is the vessel you cook rice in has to be large enough for the rice to expand 2 to 3 times. I got 2 cups of rice, 2 cups of water, and I'm gonna give that a stir. What I wanna do is I wanna saturate all the rice grains so I don't have any clumps that are gonna stick together. If you're doing table rice to eat with other entrees, that's when you bring the finger technique in. If you place the index finger onto the rice, you bring the water line to that first crease in your index finger. Because you're making fried rice, I want a drier rice that absorbs all those flavors. I'm at max heat. The water's gonna come to a boil. I'm gonna reduce to a simmer 20, turn it off, rest 20. It must be covered. You cannot cook jasmine rice uncovered. Some saucepan lids have the vent hole. I don't love that for making rice. I like a nice tight fitting lid because it actually creates pressure and limits evaporation in the water. Just make sure the water's at a simmer when you're cooking your rice, and you'll have that perfect amount of water to rice without too much evaporation. Okay, so my rice is cooked for 20, rested for 20, and now I'm going to fluff it up. Your bottom line is don't break the rice grains. That's all I'm asking you to do when you're fluffing. So I like to take either wood or silicone and just kind of start loosening up those bits of rice. Don't go right to the middle and start smashing up the rice grains. So breaking up larger bits and then smaller bits of rice, and that's it. You want to make sure each grain of rice is just loosened up from the larger bits, and now you're ready to transfer it to further cool it. And that's perfect. And what are you looking for in case you don't really make rice a lot? Every rice grain is identifiable. They're not swollen, which means there was too much water, and they're not opaque, which means there wasn't enough water. But if I can identify every rice grain, I've done my job. And tasting wise, you don't want it too soft, you don't want it too firm. This is perfect rice. So we want to cool this rice now. We're making sure the grains are nice, whole, and cold, so they'll heat up gently in the fried rice. So by the time you're eating that lovely plate of fried rice, it's like this fresh cooked rice. My favorite technique is just to use a 1/4 sheet pan or a 1/2 sheet pan if it's a lot of rice. And you're allowing all those warm bits of rice, now that they're fluffed and opened up, just to cool down naturally and stay in that whole grain. If I made fried rice with hot rice, it would basically just turn to mush. So I've transferred the rice into a 1/4 sheet pan, covered it with plastic. We're gonna put it in the fridge to further cool it down. So I went ahead and made some rice ahead of time so it's perfectly cold for fried rice. I know cooking in a wok looks really romantic, but all you need is something decently wide, some high sides, and you're good to go. So cook your food in a skillet. All right, so I'm gonna start with some neutral oil, canola, peanut, vegetable, avocado. You can get as fancy as you want or not fancy. So our char siu, which is already cooked, so I'm just warming it through. I'm using frozen peas and carrots because it's what we're kind of used to in the Chinese-American restaurant experience, but use any vegetable that's in your fridge. I'm letting the pork warm up because the shrimp cooks really, really quickly. Next, shrimp, big or small, is up to you. Now, eggs. I'm whisking 3 whole eggs here. All right, this is gonna happen fast because I cook a style of fried rice called gold covered silver, which just means I like the egg really wet because it coats the rice and makes it nice and fluffy. So this is my style. I put the rice immediately into that egg. So smash the rice right into the egg, gentle flip so the egg comes over the top. The egg actually envelops the rice, coats it completely, and creates like a non-stick surface. It's a pretty cool tip. And this way the egg stays nice and golden versus cooking all the moisture out of it and it drying out. Once we're mostly mixed together and you get those gold flakes and those Chinese barbecue bits, the colors coming together, I'm gonna start seasoning now. Very simple seasoning. The majority of your salt and umami is gonna come from chicken powder. And I don't like a soy saucy fried rice. I like a light golden fried rice. So I'm gonna use oyster sauce and soy sauce very, very lightly. So just a little bit to add a little more punch. I'm actually gonna show you a technique where I deglaze with it and not go right in. So around the edges, you can hear that sizzle. And if you notice, I'm being really delicate using silicone so I don't break up those grains. That's looking phenomenal. And this is the time I like to take my first taste before I actually put the scallions in because I don't want to overcook those scallions. Nice. Umami. The fragrance of that soy sauce comes through. I'm pretty good. Add some scallions. Imagine making this for your friends and loved ones. That's why I think yang chow fried rice is like the king of fried rice because everything's in there. I mean, check out my 1-pan feast here. I love it so much. So in terms of plating, my only tip for you is leave all the delicious bits for the top. So I'm purposely just getting kind of the rice first and laying it down as the base. I'm leaving all those big shrimp in the pan for the last final scoops. And that way, when you take this to the table, your guest sees just like mountains of shrimp and they get super, super happy. The way I like to finish fried rice is very simply the greens of the scallions on top, because I think they're a little lighter in taste than the whites. Don't forget a little bit of white pepper. It's gonna add just that floral, spicy touch to make it perfect. All that's left to do is taste this amazing dish. That's it right there. Sorry, making you jealous, but I'm just doing my job. That rice is light and fluffy. The pork and shrimp are juicy and tender, and I'm getting every bit of that savory egg goodness. Yang chow is definitely a center of the table dish. So go ahead and try this takeout classic out in your kitchen. Please leave a comment and tell me what you like to put in your version of fried rice. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on another episode of Ready Jet Cook.